Something is happening inside your brain right now, and most people have no idea it's occurring. Every single day, without your permission, your brain is being reshaped by the things you repeatedly do, the content you consume, the way you spend your mornings, the habits you've carried for years without questioning. The reshaping never stops. The only question is whether it's making your mind stronger or quietly making it weaker. Most people believe their brain is fixed. You're either focused or you're not. Either you were born with discipline or you weren't. Either your memory is sharp or it simply isn't. But neuroscience tells a completely different story. Your brain operates on a principle called neuroplasticity, which means it physically rewires itself based on your repeated behaviors. Every time you do something consistently, the neural pathways connected to that behavior strengthen. Every time you neglect something, those pathways weaken. This means your daily habits aren't just routines. They are literally construction work happening inside your skull, building either a sharper mind or a slower one. That's why two people can live through the same decade and come out mentally worlds apart. One becomes clearer, calmer, more disciplined, and more capable. The other feels mentally stuck, easily distracted, and emotionally reactive, even though they worked just as hard. The difference isn't talent. It's the daily habits that quietly rewired their brains in opposite directions. So let's talk about the 7 habits that are reshaping your brain right now, whether you're aware of them or not. The first habit is how you begin your morning. Before you've spoken a word or eaten anything, your brain is already being shaped by what it encounters first. Most people reach for their phone within minutes of waking up, and while that feels harmless, what's actually happening neurologically is significant. Your brain moves from a sleep state into a reactive state almost instantly, flooded with notifications, opinions, news, and comparisons before it has had any time to orient itself. Research in cognitive neuroscience suggests that the first inputs your brain receives after waking set the emotional and attentional tone for the hours that follow. A reactive start creates a reactive day. So the habit is simple. Give your brain at least 15 to 20 minutes in the morning before any screen, any news, any social media. Use that window for something quiet, movement, journaling, intentional thinking, or simply sitting with your thoughts. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. You'll feel the pull toward your phone almost immediately, like an itch you can't ignore. That's not weakness. That's how conditioned your brain has become to instant input. But if you protect that morning window consistently, something shifts over time. Your thinking becomes less reactive and more deliberate. Your emotional baseline stabilizes. You start the day feeling like you're leading your mind rather than being dragged by it. The second habit reshaping your brain is how often you give it uninterrupted silence. Modern life has made silence feel almost uncomfortable. Most people fill every quiet moment with something: a podcast during a walk, music while eating, videos before sleeping, background noise during work. It feels productive. It feels like you're using your time, but your brain experiences something very different. Silence is not emptiness for the brain. Silence is processing time. Neuroscience research shows that the brain's default mode network, the system responsible for self-reflection, creative thinking, memory consolidation, and problem-solving, becomes most active during quiet, unstimulated moments. When you constantly flood your brain with input, you never give this system the space to do its work. Ideas don't connect, emotions don't process, decisions feel harder. Think of it like a kitchen after a large meal. If you keep adding more food to cook before anything has been cleaned up, the whole system breaks down. Your brain needs quiet windows to clear, sort, and consolidate everything it has taken in. The habit is deliberately building moments of silence into your day. A walk without headphones, 5 minutes sitting without a screen, driving without audio sometimes. At first, silence will feel almost unbearable. Thoughts will crowd in and your instinct will be to reach for stimulation immediately. Stay with it, because over time, people who practice regular mental silence report sharper focus, more creative thinking, better emotional regulation, and a calmer internal experience overall. The third habit is what you consume as information. Your brain adapts to the quality of its inputs the same way your body adapts to the quality of its food. A diet of fast, shallow, highly stimulating content, short videos, rapid-fire social media, outrage-driven headlines, trains your brain to expect constant novelty and emotional intensity. Gradually, anything slower or deeper starts to feel unbearable. Reading a book feels slow. Thinking through a complex problem feels painful. Sitting with uncertainty feels impossible. This is not a personality flaw. It is a neurological adaptation to what your brain has been repeatedly fed. The habit is deliberately introducing slower, deeper content into your daily information diet. This doesn't mean abandoning everything entertaining. It means balance. Read something that makes you think. Listen to something that challenges an assumption you hold. Watch something that requires patience to understand. Even 10 pages of a book daily or one genuinely thoughtful article begins to recalibrate your brain's tolerance for depth. And this connects directly to the morning habit and the silence habit, because a brain protected from reactive starts and given quiet processing time becomes far more capable of absorbing deeper content. The habits stack. That's the point. You're not building isolated routines. You're building a system that reshapes your entire cognitive environment. The fourth habit is physical movement, and most people dramatically underestimate what it does to the brain. Exercise is not just a body practice. It is one of the most powerful brain development tools available to you, and it costs nothing. When you move your body consistently, blood flow to the brain increases significantly, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to the regions responsible for focus, memory, and decision-making. Physical activity also supports the release of chemicals in the brain linked to learning, mood regulation, and mental clarity. That's why a walk that seems unproductive often produces your clearest thinking. That's why people who exercise consistently tend to report better focus, lower anxiety, and stronger emotional control compared to those who don't. But here's what most people miss. Exercise doesn't just improve your brain chemistry, it trains your identity. Every time you move your body when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you are someone who acts without waiting for motivation. And that self-perception transfers. The discipline you build in physical movement gradually bleeds into your work, your relationships, your decisions. You don't need extreme workouts. 30 minutes of consistent movement daily, walking, strength training, cycling, anything your body can sustain, is enough to begin reshaping your brain's chemistry and your sense of who you are. The fifth habit is how you handle emotional discomfort. Most people have developed a reflex. When something feels uncomfortable, find a way to escape it immediately. Boredom leads to scrolling. Anxiety leads to distraction. Frustration leads to venting or numbing. This feels like relief in the moment, but what's actually happening neurologically is that you're training your brain to treat discomfort as an emergency requiring immediate escape. Over time, your brain's tolerance for any form of difficulty shrinks. Small frustrations feel overwhelming, delayed rewards feel impossible, uncertainty feels unbearable. Research in psychology suggests that the ability to tolerate discomfort without immediately reacting is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success, mental health, and emotional stability. The habit is learning to pause before escaping. When discomfort arises, instead of reacting within seconds, create a small gap. Breathe. Name what you're feeling. Simply observing an emotion without immediately acting on it begins to strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking and self-control, and weakens the automatic reactive pathways that have been running your responses without your permission. At first, this pause will feel almost impossible. The urge to escape discomfort is deeply wired, but practiced consistently, emotional tolerance becomes one of the most transformative skills you can build, because a mind that can sit with difficulty without collapsing is a mind that can do almost anything. The sixth habit is how deliberately you practice focus. This is different from simply working hard or staying busy. Busyness and focus are not the same thing, and your brain knows the difference. Most people spend their days in a state of fragmented attention, switching between tasks, responding to interruptions, half reading things, half thinking through problems, never fully committing their concentration to one thing at a time. And this pattern has a neurological cost. Every time your attention switches between tasks, your brain pays what researchers call a switching cost, a measurable drop in cognitive efficiency that accumulates across a day. By evening, people who have spent the day multitasking often feel mentally exhausted despite having produced very little deep work. The habit is practicing deliberate, uninterrupted focus in daily blocks. Start small. 20 to 25 minutes of complete single-task concentration. No notifications, no tab switching, no background stimulation. Just one thing, fully. This is uncomfortable at first because a brain conditioned to constant switching experiences single-tasking almost like deprivation. You'll feel restless. You'll notice sudden urges to check something, look something up, do something else. That restlessness is not a sign that you can't focus. It's a sign that your brain has learned to expect constant switching and is adjusting to something different. Stay with it, because practiced consistently, deliberate focus does something profound. Your attention span extends, your thinking deepens, your work improves in quality, and perhaps most importantly, you begin to feel a kind of mental calm that fragmented attention can never produce, the calm of a mind that knows how to be fully present with one thing at a time. The seventh habit is consistency over intensity. This is the habit that determines whether everything else actually works. Most people approach self-improvement in bursts. They feel motivated, commit intensely for a week or two, then fall off when motivation fades and repeat the cycle without ever building real change. But your brain does not change through intensity alone. It changes through repetition. Neural pathways strengthen through consistent, repeated activation, not occasional dramatic effort. Reading 10 pages every day for a year rewires your brain far more deeply than reading 300 pages during one motivated weekend and then stopping. Exercising for 20 minutes daily builds a more lasting neurological change than extreme workouts done sporadically. Practicing focus for 20 minutes every morning compounds into genuine cognitive transformation over months. The habit is choosing small, sustainable daily actions over impressive but unsustainable efforts. And the critical shift is this: stop waiting for motivation to show up before you act. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. Consistency is a decision, and decisions can be made regardless of how you feel on any given day. At first, showing up on low motivation days will feel pointless. The progress will seem invisible, but your brain is registering every repetition. Every time you show up anyway, the neural pathways connected to discipline, focus, and follow-through grow slightly stronger. And one day, without a dramatic moment of transformation, you'll realize that the person you were trying to become has quietly become who you are. The brain you have today is not the brain you are stuck with. Every habit on this list is not a self-improvement trick. It is a direct intervention in the neurological construction happening inside your mind right now. Protect your mornings. Embrace silence. Feed your brain deeper inputs. Move your body. Sit with discomfort. Practice deliberate focus. Show up consistently even when it's hard. Do these things long enough and you won't just notice small improvements, you'll notice that your entire relationship with your mind has changed. You'll think more clearly, feel more stable, act more deliberately, and build the kind of inner foundation that makes every other area of your life easier to navigate. If you want more practical videos on self-discipline, brain training, strong mindset, focus, and self-improvement, subscribe to this channel. And if this video genuinely helped you think differently about your daily habits, leave a like so more people can find it.